Sorry, just making an adjustment. Welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have the third beer in my Super Bowl beer kind of thing. So I did one from Trillium for Boston. I did one from Sweetwater for Atlanta, where the Super Bowl is, and then this is me covering LA. Well, I mean they're from Anaheim, but it's close enough. It's another beer from Bottle Logic. So I did do a review of Bottle Logic IPA before, but that's really not what they're known for at all. So, and that actually wasn't very good either. I'm glad that I'm doing a review for what they're really known for. There's big barrel-aged stouts. Generally, I don't do them here because they're so big. Like, I don't like to just drink one of these by myself. But I wanted to have a Los Angeles beer, and also it's a Super Bowl, so it's a special occasion. So what this beer is, it's called Red Eye November. So this is basically a coffee version of their Dark Star November, which is their bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout. But the description specifically for this says, Imperial Stout brewed with coffee, molasses, and rye aged in bourbon barrels. And it is 14.1 ABV. So it's definitely a big guy. And this is the 2017 release. So... And I just realized that these were getting to that age, so I was like, I need to open one of these, because coffee sometimes doesn't stick around that much. Now, because of how good like the base is, I'm not that worried about it, because even if the coffee falls off, I'm sure it's still an awesome beer. But I'll crack it open here and see what we got. No, I would say that I don't think that they're doing the absolute best barrel-aged stouts. But if you consider accessibility, like how often you can get them, how easily you can get them, like their secondary value, and just the quality, if you combine all that, in my opinion, they're miles ahead of everyone else. Because this is like, I think this is a shelf beer in some places. I mean, there's other breweries that do some pretty good barrel-aged shelf beers like Bell's, but theirs are, like a one-time release and they're gone in a week. These guys are banging out different ones like every couple months, so... oh... Sorry, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to feel tomorrow after drinking this by myself. But it is, so the aroma is very, very fudgy. There's a lot of bourbon, a lot of just like spirit in general. And I'm getting like some really deep, dark roasted coffee, but not something that's coming off as like ashy or acrid at all. It smells like it's going to be really sticky too, which is exciting. So the beer is absolutely fantastic. I was just contemplating in my head, like, if I waited too long to drink this, and I would say not. So a lot of times with beers, if the coffee starts falling off, then it kind of just makes the beer taste weird, and even, like, you don't just get the good base beer underneath it. That's not the case with this. And I will say I haven't had this in a really long time, so I don't really remember how coffee laden it is fresh, but it is it's pretty subdued in this, and I love coffee beer, so it's kind of a disappointment, but it's my own fault for waiting so long. But the fact that the underneath base beer is so freaking good, I really don't care that much. And I would say sometimes I drink these too cold, but I made sure that this was a proper temperature. It's actually maybe even a little warm, but that's fine with me. I like stouts at like 60 degrees. Uh, very very fudgy up front. Liking the aroma. There's a lot of heat in this. A lot of but you definitely get the bourbon flavor, but there's a lot of just general ethanol spirit character too. Um, there's something I get out of this that sometimes I get from barrel aged stouts with cinnamon in them. Or I thought that it was coming from the cinnamon, but maybe it's something that comes from the coffee because I'm tasting it in this, because there's no cinnamon in this. But it's almost like a perfumey character. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a good or bad thing. It's just something that I tend to pick up in some of these. The coffee's there, but it's kind of just like if you had a big, giant, massive stout and you accidentally spilled like a little bit of your coffee into it. That's kind of what it is. It is definitely not the driving force in this. The driving force is just fudge and barrel. So it's really not that different from Dark Star November at this point, because it is a little old. But when I say it's a little old, that just means the coffee's falling off. There's no signs of oxidation at all. So that's really the only thing I would even say about it being slightly old. It's not quite as thick as some of the other big guys that everyone goes after, but it is still a really, really, really thick stout compared to like some just rando brewery. And if they were able to up their production as much as they have, and the drop off has only been from where they were initially from like batch 1 of FO to this, I'll take that any day of the week because it's still a fantastic beer. These guys, their stuff is so good and it's accessible. Like for me, I just load up on their stuff and Fremont stuff because is there things that are better? Yes, but they're only slightly better and they're way more expensive and way harder to get. So I would rather have 3 of these beers than 1 of those any day. I think the retail on this is like $25, I think. Which, people would say that's pricey for a 500 milliliter, but in my opinion, in this genre of thing, it's one of the best things you can get. They just continue to knock these out of the park, and these beers are so good. But like I said before, sometimes I hesitate to drink them by myself because they're just so strong. But I just cracked this open. It's about to be the end of halftime, and I still have half of that pendulum beer left, but I'll honestly probably take all of the second half to drink this because it's so big. But that's fine. And the more I drink this, I'm actually getting a lot more of the molasses. I shouldn't say more because I didn't even mention it, but I'm actually getting the molasses. I'm also getting like some sort of honey character, which is interesting. I wouldn't say that I'm getting any like spice from the rye, but this is probably slightly more dry and less sweet than some of the other like FO. But so that might be contributing to that. But overall, this beer is absolutely fantastic. I would say, I'm trying to think. This is definitely, I don't know if this is the best beer that I've had in 2019 so far. But it's definitely the best one that I've done a review for on here. And I try to, the best beer that I have, I try to do reviews on here. But sometimes you just try stuff at tastings or whatever. But this is definitely, I'm pretty sure, the best thing that I've done a review for on here for 2019. And we're only on the 3rd day of February. So there's a lot left for me to review. I'm starting to bang out all these rando beers that I've been wanting to just get through. So now I'm getting down to like these other things that I really, really like. So I'm excited for that. to do some reviews of those. I think instead of doing as much of the local stuff as I've been doing, if I can do some more of this stuff, national stuff that people, outside of Charlotte or Pittsburgh know about more, it might drive some more people to watch the videos, which I think would be cool. So I'm going to try to do that, try to stick with these big beers that a lot of people love and know about. So yeah, like I said, $25, absolutely worth it. And the other thing that's crazy, like I don't really go by secondary that much because I just get this stuff in like a for cost group. But even in the secondary market, this is like, I don't know, $40. It's not that expensive. So if you don't know someone out there who can get it, I would still say it's worth $40 compared to what people pay for other stuff. So it's definitely worth getting either way. Any of their stouts, some of the weird strong ales are one thing, but any of this stouts like this, Fundamental Observation, the regular Dark Star November, the coconut one, which the name of it is kind of eluding me right now, and Space Trace. And also, what's the other one? Ground State, which is that one's coffee and maple syrup, and then something else too. I can't remember. I think it's coffee, maple syrup, and vanilla maybe. They're all really, really good, so I recommend seeking any of them out. I think that's all I got on this guy. I can't wait to finish the rest of it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.